Hello, this is the My Artifact episode number 3755. Today's date is December 11, 2025. It's been almost like a night it's not night, it's actually afternoon at almost like a 1:49 p.m. First of all, why am I recording Artifact in the afternoon? I usually didn't really record Artifact in the afternoon. Like I usually record after Artifact in the morning and in the night. Afternoon is not a kind of like a not a kind of like a something time that I should supposed to be record Artifact, but still I'm doing is because of that. Okay, I just had a dinner. Okay, and very heavy dinner. Sorry, I just had a lunch. Dinner should supposed to be called as a night. Oh yeah, so I just had a lunch. It was a very heavy lunch, and I didn't really want to kind of like sit in front of my desk right after I ate my lunch. So I just kind of like walking here, and soon as I kind of like walking, I realized that what if I could kind of like record the Artifact. So that's some kind of like a recording Artifact. I am at the rooftop. I'm at kind of like a little bit of shadow area. I'm walking here in just little bit patch, and I'm kind of like a recording Artifact. All right. Okay. Now let's just jump back to the question. All right. Yeah. Now the question is, what if number had a personalities? Oh. Okay, if you are a bit really curious about where am I kind of like asking this question, like what is at least this question and why, like basically this thing, like like where am I, like what kind of like a question that I'm asking. Okay, yeah. So basically this thing na ki I'm actually kind of like a simply asking question to myself in the Artifact was kind of like a simply so long. Okay, it's been almost like so many years and things like that. Because of AI and ChatGPT, okay, yeah, I wanted to make my Artifact a little bit kind of like a simply just fun and kind of like a things. So I just kind of like a simply says to ChatGPT, suggest me 200 question, 200 what if question. Okay, and it kind of like a suggests me those kind of like question. Okay, yeah. So this kind of like a simply fun part of what if question, which kind of like a really good. Okay, yeah. So regarding about the question, what if the number had a personalities? Okay, first of all, what is at least this question and why am I asking this question to myself? This is what if question. Why am I asking this question to myself? What if question is always really interested way to give the answer. It kind of like a force you to think about that reality. When I try to think about that reality, I'm kind of like utilizing my knowledge and information that I've been through. And it kind of like a feel really good to kind of like giving the answer. It kind of like add so many values while I'm kind of giving the answer. Disclaimer: the information that I'm trying to tell you is not exactly right or is not exactly wrong either. It's raw, it's unfiltered. Okay, it's just an opinion. So do not believe in any kind of like information that I'm saying, or do not seek for any kind of like information that I'm saying. It's just my opinion, and opinion are subjective. All right. So let's just jump into the question. Now, question says, what if number had a personalities? A number had a personality is a very kind of like a very creative in its own possible way. Okay, yeah. Because number doesn't really have personality. Number is not nothing real at all. Okay, yeah. But we kind of like looked at the number in very different point of perspective. And sometimes we connect emotions by number. Sometimes we connect emotions to number too. Like basically, we usually connect emotions to any random object, like anything at all. Like imagine is this thing that you might not seem snake as a cute animal. Definitely not. Okay, yeah, because snake is not supposed to be a cute because it's not. Okay, yeah, and puppies are not meant to be kind of like a something dangerous. No, puppies are meant to be cute. Okay, yeah. Snakes are meant to be dangerous, right? Like basically that's why we kind of like resonate this kind of like a language to the any object or any kind of like animal or any kind of like a things. Okay, yeah. So that's why we connect emotions to the every kind of like a stuff. Like it's a imaginary, it's a kind of like a perspective regarding about how do we look at the world. Okay, yeah. Like puppies are look cute, snakes are look dangerous. Even if the snakes are kind of like a somebody how tiny small it is, it always be a kind of like a somebody feel danger. Okay, yeah. Snakes never meant to be a cute, right? So this is kind of like some emotions and practical. It's kind of like a way that we live the life. Sorry, it's the way that we see the life. Okay. So that's why we just kind of like a talk about this particular context, that ki, what if a number had a personality? Number doesn't really have a personality. We are kind of like a represent our emotions through anything that has kind of like emotions, like kind of like somebody imagine that particular thing and make sure that does they have kind of like a personality or things like that. Okay, yeah. So let's just understand. Now let's just understand. Okay, yeah. Now let's talk about number 0. Okay, yeah. What kind of like a personality represent by 0? I think 0 means like a basically is this thing na, if I'm gonna say 0, it doesn't really have any, like it kind of like a feel like a failure. It's something that na, I don't know what kind of like a personality that it represent. Okay, yeah. It's a kind of like a personality that probably is this thing ki a hard worker employee. Okay, yeah, who is kind of like a putting lot of hard worker, like lot of hard work, but the other employees are things that ki this is kind of like a really pathetic. Like basically the value of that particular hard worker employee is nothing really at all, but that hard worker employee put the effort in any kind of like a work, that work became 10 times 100 times better, and this kind of like an employee represent by 0 probably. Okay, yeah, he's putting a lot of hard worker, but he doesn't really have any value in its own. But when he kind of like simply putting work in any kind of like assembly, any kind of like assembly thing, then that work became 10 times 100 times better probably. So that is kind of like 0, a kind of like a hardworking guy, but doesn't really have any value in its own. It shine when it has kind of like a working for somebody. Okay, yeah. So I think this is it. It kind of like a represent that kind of like a something personality from 0 from my point of perspective. Okay, yeah. Now 1, yeah. What kind of like a personality it shows by 1? If 1 is a have personality, then what would be? Probably 1 should supposed to be considered as a kind of like a something arrogance. Okay, why? Because 1 is a kind of like an initial state of beginning. Okay, or anything. Like let's just say that it start from something, so it start from 1. Okay, it start from 1. Okay, so basically 1 has a something, and everything is actually start from 1. Like everything like a entire universe actually start from 1. So probably is this thing that ki 1 have a little bit of kind of like a some arrogance, because without 1 there is no initial point. Okay, yeah. So initial point is very much essential for, yeah, it's very much essential for everything. So that's why I kind of like a thing that ki probably 1 is kind of like a represent as a kind of like a something very like a very something like a arrogance probably, like a basically that particular 1 number is kind of like that I am very arrogant and things, because I am the kind of like a person who is just like a, yeah, I am the always first, so probably little bit arrogance, yeah, probably. Okay, now what about 2? Yeah, what kind of like a 2 represent personality? Well, number 2 kind of like a represent personality as a friendly. Okay, yeah, like a basically is this thing that 2 number can friend with anybody, and it is really good friend. Okay, yeah, like basically even is kind of like considered as a kind of like a right hand. Okay, yeah, like basically it blend with anybody, it can divide, it can multiply, it can easily, like easy to do calculation when you add number 2. Okay, yeah, it's really easy, really friendly, really like really good in itself. Okay, yeah, really better in itself. So probably probably number 2. Okay, number 3 is completely opposite. Number 3 is a kind of like a things that na ki like basically I am the kind of like a one of my kind, and it's very hard, like basically it's kind of like a thing that na like some people are kind of like a very easy to become friend, and some people did not become very easy to become friend. So 3 is one of that friend. Okay, it's very difficult to be a friend because it's not like basically he accept the friendship on his terms. Okay, yeah. So basically this thing na 3 is a like it's kind of like a thing that na ki little bit, it's not arrogance, yeah, it is little bit arrogance, but little bit kind of like a kind of like a, how do I say, what exactly is this thing that ki I will not gonna change myself, kind of like stuff like that probably. Yeah, so 3 is that kind of like a show personality. 4, what kind of like a 4 represent personality? A 4 represent a stable, a strong enough to hold its weight and things and potential. Like it's not 1, it's not 2, it's not 3, it's 4. A 4 means a kind of like a somebody, a complete. Okay, yeah. Like the 4 is not like 4 doesn't really require any kind of like a somebody create a bond or things like that. It is stable in itself. Like a 4 people of family, the foundation of the building, or like a 4 pillars or things. These are kind of like represent as a stable and supports and strong and kind of like a, yeah, probably is this thing. The 4 is kind of like considered to be a kind of like a somebody I'm kind of like imagine as a kind of like a senior person who is a senior person who is kind of like a very much stable in its everything. Okay, probably. I don't know how do I supposed to represent the personality to a 4, but this kind of like a personality that I'm thinking. Okay, 5. Okay, what kind of like represent the 5? 5 represent something that ki a kind of like a thing that na ki 5 represent that ki my own its number system. Okay, my own number system. Okay, what is actually my own number system? Okay, my own number system means like that, like a basically number system is actually 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Okay, yeah, this is a number system. 5 represent that, no, 5 is my own number system. Like basically I'm gonna say 5 10 15 20 25 30, yeah. So basically this thing, so this is my own number system. So it has a kind of like the same arrogance as its 1, like a 1 has a kind of like the same arrogance, 5 has also same arrogance too, but little less than that. Okay, yeah. But 5 is kind of like a really good in sorry for this inconvenience, I have to be go because whatever, sorry for all the stuff, not for sorry, like basically I'm dropping at middle of it. So this is my thought process regarding about the number system and stuff like that. There is it, and thank you.